Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. So in this channel we are having different lessons in basic English grammar, and I'm sure these are very useful to you and helpful to learn English the easy way. So if you have comments or suggestions, just don't hesitate to write down in the comment section below. So for today's lesson, we have how to form the comparison of adjectives. But before we do that, of course, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, press the bell, like, and share. Once again, this is Teacher Wowa. Watch and listen to this. First of all, let us learn what adjectives really mean. So here we say that an adjective describes or modifies nouns and pronouns in a sentence. It normally indicates color, size, shape, taste, smell, texture, quality, and feelings. In color, some of the words that we use to describe are pink, red, blue, violet, orange. Some words that we use to describe size are huge, skinny, large, small, big. And some words to describe shape we use oval, round, square, triangle, circle. And words to describe taste we use salty, sweet, spicy, bitter, sour. And some words that we use to describe smell of objects are stinky, fresh, flowery, fragrant, scented. And to describe texture, we use the words rough, smooth, slimy, bumpy, fluffy. And to describe the quality of certain objects, we use good, excellent, superior, finest, great. And for feelings, some words that we use are happy, joyful, angry, fearful, and anxious. In order for us to be able to use this, let us first learn the rules in forming the comparison of adjectives. Rule number 1. One-syllable adjectives generally form the comparative by adding ER for the comparative and the superlative by adding EST. Let us look at the example of an adjective which is dark. So the comparative degree is we add ER so it becomes darker, and for the superlative we add EST, it becomes darkest. So dark, darker, darkest, clear, clearer, clearest, soft, softer, softest, sweet, sweeter, sweetest, cheap, cheaper, cheapest. Now let us look at the rule number 2. Adjectives with silent E at the end form the comparative by adding R at the end, and the superlative by adding ST at the end. Let us look at this example. Nice. Nice is an adjective that when we form the comparative, we add R. So it becomes nicer. To form the superlative, we add ST. So it becomes nicest. So nice, nicer, nicest. Wise, wiser, wisest. Large, larger, largest. Late, later, latest. Strange, stranger, and strangest. Our next rule is adjectives that end in Y form the comparative by changing Y into I and add ER at the end, and the superlative by adding EST at the end. Let's look at these examples. Pretty is an adjective that ends in Y, so to form the comparative, we change Y to I and add ER. And to form the superlative, again, we change Y to I and add EST. So it becomes pretty, prettier, prettiest. And other adjectives are that ends in Y are lazy, lazier, laziest, heavy, heavier, heaviest, crazy, crazier, craziest, busy, busier, busiest. Our next rule is on one-syllable adjectives, which says that One-syllable adjectives that end with a single consonant with a vowel before it. We double the consonant and add ER to form the comparative and add EST to form the superlative. An example of this is hot. So it ends with the consonant T. So we double the letter T. It becomes hotter for the comparative degree because we add ER into it. And then superlative, it becomes hottest. So hot, hotter, hottest. Another examples are thin, thinner, thinnest, big, bigger, biggest, fat, fatter, fattest, sad, sadder, saddest. Now let's look at this next rule. Adjectives with two or more than two syllables form the comparative by using more before the adjective and form the superlative by using most before the adjective. The word difficult is an adjective which is more than two syllables. So for the comparative degree, we add more to make it more difficult. And then for the superlative degree, we add most, so it becomes most difficult. So difficult, more difficult, and most difficult. Other adjectives are careful, more careful, most careful, handsome, more handsome, most handsome, creative, more creative, most creative, popular, more popular, and most popular. For irregular adjectives, it says that irregular adjectives are adjectives that do not follow the common methods of forming comparatives and superlatives. It says in the rule that you simply have to learn and remember these irregular adjectives by heart. So we have to remember them or memorize them. Let's look at these few adjectives. So bad. The comparative degree for bad is worse, which spells as WORSE. For the superlative degree, we have worst, which spelled as WORST. So bad, comparative worst, superlative worst. Next, little, less, least. So much and many have the same comparative and superlative forms. So much, many, more, most. The adjective far, which means extent, has its comparative form, which is further, spelled as FURTHER, further. And the superlative is furthest, which is spelled as FURTHEST. So far, which means extent, further, furthest. Far, which means distance. Comparative degrees spelled as FARTHER, farther. And for the superlative is farthest, which is spelled as FARTHEST. Good and well have same comparative and superlative form, which are better and best. Now, there are some adjectives that do not have comparative and superlative forms. And these adjectives are blind, dead, vertical, right, final, fatal, left, wrong, and universal. Now, how do we use the adjectives in their different forms of comparison? Comparative adjectives are used to compare differences between the two objects they modify. Like we use the adjectives, for example, larger, smaller, faster, higher. They are used in sentences where two nouns are being compared. To express the comparison between the two nouns, the word than is used. For examples, Sophia is prettier than Hannah. So there are two nouns which are compared here, Sophia and Hannah. And the comparison, the adjective that we use to compare these two is the adjective prettier in the comparative form, and then we use the word than. So Sophia is prettier than Hannah. In our next sentence, my car is more expensive than your car. We use an adjective which is more than two syllables, so we add more before the adjective expensive. So my car is more expensive than your car. Next, the OFW's condition is worse than ours at this time of pandemic. So the adjective that we use is worse, which is the comparative form of the adjective bad. And then we add the word than. The OFW's condition is worse than our condition at this time of pandemic. Then next, superlative adjectives are used to describe an object which is at the upper or lower limit of a quality. Like when we say the tallest, the smallest, the fastest, and the highest. They are used in sentences where a subject is compared to a group of objects, like in these examples. 1. Heaven is the tallest among the players in the team. So, tallest is the adjective that we use, which is in its upper limit of a quality. Next, Sabrina is the most intelligent of them all. So we use this adjective intelligent. And intelligent is more than two syllables. That's why we use the word most with it in order to give the upper quality or the upper limit of quality. So the next sentence is, she is the worst candidate in this beauty contest. So worst is the adjective that we use to show the superlative form or the superlative degree of the adjective bad. Okay guys, now let's use the comparison of adjectives in sentences. Let us take, for example, the adjective difficult. So let's look at the different forms of comparison. Science subject is difficult, but English subject is more difficult than science, but mathematics is the most difficult of all. Next, the adjective rich. Singapore is a rich country. Japan is richer than Singapore. United States of America is the richest of them all. Next, the adjective good. The politician is a good speaker. The educator is a better speaker than the politician. The preacher is the best speaker among them. So that's how we used the different adjectives in sentences. So there we go guys, we finished another lesson in basic grammar, which is the comparison of adjectives. But just stay put because there are more lessons to come on our next videos. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Once again, this is Teacher Wowa. Thanks for watching. Bye. God bless everyone.